Welcome back to reading Chassidic Stories. I need to get better lighting, that's for sure. Okay, today's story, let's get right into it. So I wanted to tell over the story about Rebbe Nachman's birth, how Rebbe Nachman was born. It's a very long, interesting story with lots of details. But it's a little long, and I don't want to make long videos because I want people to actually watch them and learn something, and it's hard to keep attention spans these days. I don't watch long videos. If it's too long, I'm out. So we are going to tell a shorter story about Rabbi Nachman's brother, who is named Rav Yisroel, and Rav Yisroel has a very interesting name. They call him Rav Yisroel Mace, Rav Yisroel the Dead. But before I tell the story about how he got that name, I just want to give a little history about who Rabbi Nachman's parents were and what the story is about this specific guy, Rabbi Yisroel, how he was born. So basically, in short, the Baal Shem Tov had a student whose name was Rabbi Nachman Denker, who was a very big tzaddik. And Rabbi Nachman Denker was always traveling back and forth between Eretz Yisrael and Mezhebush, whatever. And he didn't live with his wife. He was married, but he was always traveling around. And his wife went in front of the Baal Shem Tov and she said, "What's going on with your student? Such a big tzaddik, but he doesn't want to live with me. Why should I stay married to him?" All these different types of things. So the Baal Shem Tov said, "I'm going to find out." So the Baal Shem Tov went and found his student. Actually, this is when the Baal Shem Tov was in Istanbul, according to the version that I have in my sefer over here. On the way back from when he was attempting to go to Eretz Yisrael. And I guess the Baal Shem Tov's student, Rabbi Nachman Denker, lived there, so his wife was there, so she came to the Baal Shem Tov. And then Rabbi Nachman Denker came back from Eretz Yisrael through Istanbul, through Turkey, and the Baal Shem Tov spoke to him. And he said, "Why aren't you living with your wife?" And he said, "Because I know that," he said he knows with Ruach HaKodesh that once he has a child with his wife, he is going to die. Not the child, Rabbi Nachman Denker is going to die. So Rabbi Nachman Denker didn't want to die yet. He wanted to serve Hashem. He wanted to do other things. So he told the Baal Shem Tov told his Rabbi Nachman Denker's wife, "It's kedai for you to stay with. It's worth it for you to stay with Rabbi Nachman Denker and have a child with him because he's very holy, and the child that comes out is going to be holy and everything like that." And the Baal Shem Tov made a deal with Rabbi Nachman Denker. He said that when you have a child, and my daughter Adel has a child, if it's a boy and a girl, or a girl and a boy, I want to make a shidduch between them. And Rabbi Nachman Denker actually did not want to make the shidduch because he said that he has better yichus than the Baal Shem Tov. He says that I have yichus going all the way back to Betzalel ben Uri ben Chor from Shevet Yehuda. And the Baal Shem Tov said, "Oh, I also do." And they discussed it a little bit, big inyanim, and they decided to make the shidduch. So now, Rabbi Nachman Denker and his wife, they had a child. His name was Rabbi Simcha. That is Rabbi Nachman's father. Adel, the Baal Shem Tov's daughter, had a daughter named Fega. That's Rabbi Nachman's mother. And they lived in the same town, I guess in Mezhebush, by the Baal Shem Tov. And the Baal Shem Tov liked Simcha a lot. He would put him in front of the Almud and everything like that. And when they grew up, the Baal Shem Tov married them to each other. So the Baal Shem Tov married Rabbi Nachman's son, who was Rabbi Simcha, to Adel's daughter, who was Fega. Okay, now we could start the story. Now we have a little family tree hak in the background that we know now. So after a while, after they were married, Fega was having any children. And she went to the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov liked her a lot. She says that Fega hoise chaviva etzlei me'oid, that she was very chaviv by him. So she went to the Baal Shem Tov and she said, "You help out all these women who don't have any children in the whole entire world. Why can't you help me?" So he said that while I'm alive, he promised her. He said that while I am still alive, you will not have any children, but after I die, you will have a child or children. So after the Baal Shem Tov died, she had a son. And her and Rabbi Simcha, Fega and Rabbi Simcha, had an argument about what to name this kid. So obviously, Fega, I should turn that off when I make a video. Now you guys know it's 4 o'clock p.m. in Israel. So Fega wanted to call him Yisroel after the Baal Shem Tov, and Rabbi Simcha wanted to call him Nachman after his father, Rabbi Nachman Horodenker. But she won. Usually the women win. Said that quietly. And they called him Yisroel. And he was a little bit of a wild kid. He was always running around. He was dancing. So that one time he went to the shuk, and he went onto a roof, and he fell, and he died. Rahman al-Islam. And they took him, and they hid him so that they shouldn't see him. I guess I don't know who. I guess the mother shouldn't see him, or I don't know why they're hiding him. But after she already found out, after Fega found out, she was nitfahala me'oid. Right, basically the lashon of nispal me'oid. She was very, she was like very in shock, obviously, that her son had died. And what did she do? She took this kid, this Rabbi Yisroel, whose name was Yisroel at that time because he was just a little kid, and she put him on the kever of the Baal Shem Tov, and she left him there, and she said, here's the gift that you gave me. Like angrily, like saying to the Baal Shem Tov, who's not alive, like, okay, take him back, I don't care. She was angry, and she went back to her house. And the Shamish of the Beis Kvaros over there in Mezhebush saw a woman go in with a kid, and then she left without a kid. So he went to see what was going on, and he didn't find her, but he found the kid, and the kid was crying. And the Shamish of the cemetery realized that this was a nechet of the Baal Shem Tov. He was a grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, and he bought it, and he bought Yisroel back to his mother's house. And then she saw in a vision, she saw the Baal Shem Tov, and the Baal Shem Tov says, "My daughter, why did you have to trouble me so much? If you would have came onto my caver, right? I'm not going to be able to help you." The Baal Shem Tov complained against her. He said, why did you have to make me do, basically, bring this kid back to life, which is much harder for a tzaddik to do. These are nyanim that we don't even understand, but he was saying, like, you could have just came to my caver and talked to me. Now, first off, another thing about the Baal Shem Tov's caver is that, the Baal Shem Tov's caver is obviously a very special place. It's in Mezhebush in the Ukraine. And Rabbi Nachman says it's very good to be on the Baal Shem Tov's caver. It's very good. So if you ever have a chance, hopefully one day we'll all be able to travel again to go to the back of the Baal Shem Tov. I spent many days there before Uman Rosh Hashanah, after Uman Rosh Hashanah, different times of the year. It's a very special place. Mezhebush is one of the most, I think, peaceful towns I've ever been in. It's like very old chickens running around, people pumping water out of the ground. They grow their own food, very self-sustaining there. I love it over there. Anyway, so she went to the Baal Shem Tov's caver, and she put this kid on who was dead, and the Baal Shem Tov revived the kid and brought him back to life. And the Baal Shem Tov tined against her, "What are you doing? You could have just came to me." He says, "Ki kol zman." He says, the Baal Shem Tov told Fega that basically all the time that you don't take a dead person from the house, so then the person's soul is floating above him. But when you took him and you brought him to my caver, so his neshama went flying, and it got mixed in with thousands of other souls. Umachmas goydel harash shalach lo yecholti limtzay haneshama. And since you made such a big thing, I couldn't find this neshama because it was lost. I couldn't find his original soul that he had. So I took a different soul and I put it inside his body. And that's why they called him Yisrael Mace, because at one point he was dead, and then the Baal Shem Tov brought him back alive. And also because his face was panav yerukim kimes. His face was a little bit, yerukim means green, but I guess it means like probably like an off color, like a dead person's type of color. I don't really know what that looks like, taka, but you could imagine. V'gam hamatzeva shal kivrei charus Yisrael Meis, and also his caver, which is right outside the Baal Shem Tov's caver, outside the building where the Baal Shem Tov was buried. Today, Rav Yisroel Meis is buried there. You can see that caver. So that's a wild story, and maybe we'll get around to telling how Rebbe Nachman was born. Also, Rabbi Simcha was traveling, and it was a whole thing. We're going to get into that, and they picked a special soul. These are very high inyanim. But while we were talking about that she didn't have children, I saw in a different pamphlet over here that a story from the Belzer Rebbe. A bunch of stories over here compiled about people who were not able to have children. Zera Shel Kayam. He said that one night the Belzer Rebbe, Achri HaSeder Noyeg Hoye Bebelz L'Tzeis L'Rechoyve So'er K'dei L'Shmoya Aricha HaSeder Mipi Yehudei Eir. Says in Belz, after the Seder, they would go outside and walk around and hear how everybody did their Seder on Pesach. Now, I know it's not Pesach, but the story just has to do with Pesach. So he says that one time, the Rav HaKodesh, the Marash Mibelz, went out. He went out with his gabbai, Rav Eli Melech, to the street, and they heard a guy who was finishing the bracha Goal Yisrael in the Haggadah, and instead of continuing the Haggadah, he actually started saying Shmona Esrei, like davening, because he thought he was davening. So of course, like in every Chassidic story, that the gabbai has to start laughing. Parat hagabbai b'tzchoik. That's what always happens. There's always something weird. The Rebbe is like doing big things, and then the gabbai is always laughing, even though he knows what's going to happen because this has happened 800 times before. You know, it's like watching a movie 100 times. You already know what's going to happen. So why are you laughing? Anyway, that's just my thing. But so the gabbai started laughing, and the Belzer Rebbe started giving like, why are you laughing? He said with this tefillah that this guy did by making a mistake, by starting Shmona Esrei in middle of the Haggadah, in middle of the Seder, he did major things in Shemayim. And this guy was not able to have children, and now Hashem said that he could have children. So that's also another interesting story that I thought that I would share today. And I think these are the last stories of this week. I think next week we're going to upload. Again, I'm going to try to upload videos on Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. I think that's a good schedule. Not too much, not too little. And thank you again for everybody who's watching. Please leave comments, please share, please leave advice. A lot of people have been sending me messages with advice on what to say, how to approach certain things. So if anybody has more advice, obviously, please send and share these videos, and let's try to make this like a whole thing, like a nice big project. Have a great day.